Well, this is an absolute waste. This was one of my bigger colonies. One that I even had fostering some honey. When I checked through the hives a couple weeks ago, I had a few that I thought were real weak, and I was afraid they weren't going to be able to hold their honey. The beetles would get to them. So I moved at least one super onto this hive to have them sort of babysit that honey and take care of it. And apparently that didn't work. Done in the past, it worked fine, but here, I don't know what happened. You know, and this is what I tell people with these stupid beetles. You know, you have a colony that's strong and healthy and you think everything's fine, and the next thing you know, boom, they're slimed out. And I don't know that it's anything I did. Maybe it's because I gave them that extra honey they couldn't defend it all, but I really don't know. They could have already been weak whenever I gave them the honey and it was already, you know, doomed. But, you know, I mention the beetles from time to time, and I talk about the damage they can do, and honestly, I don't run anything to prevent them. I don't run any traps, I don't use anything. I know there's stuff out there, I've tinkered with it, I've made videos about it. I've just never found any of it really to be worth the headache. I lose a few hives a year, that's just the way it goes. But I hate that this happened. I was gonna harvest this honey about a month ago and I put it off and just said I was too busy, didn't do it. And I could have got it. Now this was the brood box. This was the second brood box, had some honey in it. Full of honey, some honey. And the honey is still capped. It still looks like it might be salvageable, but I just don't trust it. I'm just not comfortable with it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tear this whole box down. I'll set it out over here in the yard where the robbers can get to it, because there's been robbers, they're working on it, they're picking it apart, but even they don't like the smell from that slime. So I'm hoping if I open these boxes up, set them out in the sun, maybe the bees will come and they'll rob them clean, and they'll at least take what's still good honey, take it back, put it in their boxes, and maybe I can still get it. But I'm not comfortable running it through the extractor and trying to just bottle it up. Even though it's still capped, it has that kind of just slimed look on the cappings, or on the caps of the comb. So I'm not gonna harvest it. But yeah, that really sucks. That hurts. I was coming in here mowing, getting ready to harvest this weekend, and I saw on the entrance, you know, of course you guys can look at other videos, but obviously everything just looks all wet, rotten, but you see just slimy, wet nastiness on the entrance board, and it should never be like that. The rest of them all look fine, so hopefully we still got something to salvage, but this might be a short year on honey for me, because this is, you know, 50 pounds at least probably that I may or may not get. If I get it through the other hives, it's great, but if not, it's a loss. So anyway, this sucks, but this is why I tell people, I had people call me every summer, man, I had a bunch of honey and the beetles got it and slimed it out. And I tell people, man, that's why, you know, just quick as that flow cuts off, for us down here anyway, for me, you know, I say as quick as that flow cuts off and dries up, I get that honey off, just because I don't want to take this risk. And I think this is the first year that I've had a big bunch of honey on a hive get slimed. So it sucks, but hopefully we can get some lemons here, or lemonade out of the lemons, and we'll set this out and see if the bees can't get something out of it still. So this is just a follow-up on the slimed out beehive. I broke it all apart and set it out here, just kind of away from the main apiary. I mean, yeah, there's a couple hives right there, but the rest of them are all over yonder. This is where I always set my stuff that I want to get robbed out, just so it's not right in the bee yard. And it looks like they're doing pretty good on it this morning, robbing it better. You know, yesterday when I discovered it, they were kind of robbing it, but truthfully the bees don't even want to rob honey if it means they've got to go in that stinking, rotten, nasty box that's been slimed out. So I broke it all apart so it gets some fresh air and sunlight through it, and they're robbing it good this morning, which is what I wanted to happen. I wanted to see if they would recover any of that honey. Like I said, I just don't trust it. It still looked capped, and when I poked it, it still looked clean. But just seeing it have that slimy look on the outside of the capped cell, I just don't trust it. So I brought it over here. I figured the bees will take what's good and they'll leave what's not, and then whatever's left over, I'll just melt it all down. But what I noticed was interesting this morning is in this little pomegranate tree, the bees are all over this thing. And it's probably hard for you guys to see, but they're all over the leaves on the tree here. They're like little Christmas ornaments. You see them all just dangling everywhere. And it's right above the boxes. I don't know if they're crawling through the boxes, it gets their wings sticky, or if they're just that fattened up with the honey that they're robbing or what, but I've never noticed before when they're robbing, I've never noticed them this thick in the tree. But they fly up off the box, and watching them do it. they fly up out of the box and they fly right to this tree and they land and they just kind of crawl around on the leaves a little bit and groom themselves. There's one doing it. Groom themselves, and then I guess eventually they'll fly off back to their hive. But that's actually what caught my eye. I came out here this morning and was just watching them, and then I started looking at this tree and I noticed it's just full of them. And again, I know it's hard for you guys to see, it's almost like a game, but they're all over the inside of this thing, hanging off the limbs, and I don't know why. My best guess is, yeah, that just crawling through that box while they're robbing it. They must get sticky on their wings or something, because it looks like most all of them that are up here, they're all grooming themselves. They land up here, groom a little bit, and then fly off. So just thought that was funny. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to follow up on, like I said, on the robbing. This is what I wanted them to do, so hopefully they'll get this wrapped up. I think I'm probably going to harvest honey. Let's see, today's Friday. I'll probably harvest Sunday or Monday. So hopefully by then they've gotten all this cleaned out, and with any luck, they've taken what's good back to the hive and already patched it back up. If it is pure honey, they might just be able to unload it and cap it right back off again. But anywho, just thought I'd show y'all the aftermath. I guess that deep right there was the second deep, so they had brood and honey. They're working it the most, and then all the mediums the two mediums were honey as well, and this top deep had just a little bit of, just had a couple frames of honey right here on the right hand side that they're working on. So not a crazy robbing frenzy just yet, but it is early. But definitely they're robbing it a lot better than they were yesterday, having to work in that stinking nasty hive.